If you've ever tried using AI to code your first game but you still feel overwhelmed, then in this video I'll show you how to actually use AI to finish your first game instead of just wasting more time. Because I had this period of my game development journey where I was over-reliant on AI. And you can probably relate to this. When you use AI, you get like a guilty feeling. Like, I haven't personally done this, obviously, since I'm a good boy, but I can imagine it's like the same feeling you get when you like cheat on a test in school, or you just cheat. Like, basically AI feels like cheating basically. And internally I think we know that like using AI, it's not in our best interest. It's just a fast track and it feels productive. Like, it's kind of like a drug basically. Feels good, but it's not in our best interest. I remember when I used AI, I was in this period where I was just over-reliant on AI, prompting it. It feels like my brain was running. Like, you can imagine that feeling after you've scrolled on YouTube Shorts or Instagram, whatever you're watching, for like multiple hours without a break. Your brain becomes like fried and you're like overstimulated. I think that's a meme, like overstimulated. That's a very good word to describe what using AI feels like. Feel overstimulated. You feel like you just played a video game or did some quick dopamine thing. But in reality, you were trying to be productive, you were trying to work, but you end up using this AI that's just running your brain and feels more like fun than actually working. And this gives you like a feeling of addiction. You feel like you're addicted to using AI. Like, you get this feeling that you can't do anything without AI. And for every little thing you have to ask AI, is this okay? Can I do this, please? AI is basically a replacement for you, and you're like the assistant that just helps the AI bring its coffee. That's what it feels like. But in reality, as I said before, we know that we don't learn as much when we use AI. You can imagine like AI is like a clumsy and cheap handyman. Like, sure, he works fast, but what he does is that he ignores your blueprint, he ignores your plan, and he takes shortcuts whenever he wants. Like, in the end, sure, your house stands, but it's not the house that you planned when you first started. I think that's a very good description of using AI for game development. And I know this is a common issue as well. It's not just something that me or you struggle with. This is something that's very common. Like, for example, inside of Smart Indie, one of the students there also struggled with the same thing. But there was something that I realized once I was researching and like getting more knowledge on like learning as a skill, like the skill of learning itself. And that's that I realized that you learn quicker by on purpose restricting your information and basically using your own brain, thinking for yourself. And you can basically think that the master of not thinking yourself, like the boss of being lazy and not thinking and using our own brain, that's AI. AI is the most lazy thing you can do. That requires as little thinking as possible. Like, you can sure copy and paste code from GitHub or Stack Overflow, but that's maybe like 10% of what AI is. When you do like Stack Overflow, copy and paste, you still have to think, you still have to use your brain, you still have to like implement the code, make it fit your program, your game. But when you use AI, AI knows like roughly how your game is, so you can just copy and paste it and done. The thing works. It's like the final boss of laziness, basically. But that's not even the worst part of using AI. The worst part is that AI, it limits your growth. As beginners in game development, AI doesn't benefit us in any meaningful way. AI, it limits our growth, it limits our quality of games and our learning. You can imagine when you started riding a bike, you had like training wheels. That's basically what AI is. It's like bicycling with training wheels. Like, sure, you might feel like you can ride a bike, even though you can't. You feel like you can ride a bike, you can ride fast, you think, but you never learn to balance on your own. So it's basically just a temporary solution. And that's the same for using AI. And let me just ask you a question. What makes you unique if you don't have any skills outside of prompting the AI? Like, sure, you might think, well, I'm just going to use AI forever, but what's going to make you apart from the 100,000 other devs that also want to become game developers? They want a quick solution and they think they can just do this with AI. What's going to set you apart from them? well, it's obviously going to be really hard. You need like some other skills outside of using AI. You can imagine this. This is a horrible scenario, and I hope that I convince you to not like end up in this. So you used AI for months, and in the end, I promise you that you'll just realize that you haven't improved and that you just wasted your time. You'll just have wasted hours and hours every week, which compounds every week, that's tens of hours. In months, that can be hundreds of hours that you wasted prompting the AI and not learning yourself. All that time you wasted prompting the AI, you could have used to learn yourself, and that would be 100 times more effective. And in the end, you'll have more skills to actually make the games that you want to make, and the games that actually are valuable, that you can sell, you can promote, and you can use to build your brand or your game studio. Basically, all the opportunities fade away when you have like this over-reliance on AI. Like, nothing makes you stand out from the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other developers that don't have any real skills outside of AI. So you won't make profitable games, basically. You can basically start a YouTube channel because you don't have any real skills to show. Like, sure, you can prompt AI, but are you really going to make a YouTube channel about prompting the AI to make your game, to be as lazy as possible? No, you're probably not. People are probably not going to view that, or hopefully I don't hope that they will. And like getting hired, you're not going to get hired if you have no skills outside of AI. Like, getting hired is hard enough as it is in game development. So when you have no really special skills outside of using AI, maybe you're quite good at prompting the AI, then you're not going to get a job. It's hard enough as it is. But that leads me to the most interesting point of this entire video, and that's how you actually use AI instead as beginners. So instead of Smart Indie, I'm currently working on a full AI guide for game development, which will not just tell you how to use the AI, but it's going to tell you how to use AI to actually skyrocket your progress, specifically tailored to your skill level, like a beginner, with the goal of releasing your first game. Like, the AI guide is just one of many bonuses, which doesn't even mention the full course itself, the 2-hour-long video course. So if you want to have access to all of that information, then you can click the first link in the description. It's going to be worth it, I promise you. But in short, basically the mindset is that AI shouldn't replace you, but it should replace a mentor. And how do you use this mentor? Well, you use it to... I'm just going to give you some quick examples that I found useful. For example, you can use AI to review your code. So for example, you might have written like a script yourself or a system. Then as a beginner, obviously you don't know what's effective, what's not effective, what works, what doesn't work. If you're maybe doing something in like a horribly inefficient way, then the AI is going to quickly identify that, and it's going to say, hey, the system that you made, it works, but it's extremely ineffective. You could double your frame rate or your responsiveness, whatever, if you just changed this one thing, for example. As beginners, that's a 100% likely scenario that you will run into. And that's not something that you'd notice if you didn't use AI to review your code, or you had like a mentor that could review your code. You'd basically have to like be lucky and find out or learn, like get conscious of this problem on YouTube or online, which you probably wouldn't like in your specific scenario. So AI can just find these problems extremely quickly and just guide you on the right path. You can also use AI for like quick concept overviews. So you can ask, for example, what does update mean in Unity? What is fixed update used for? What's a quaternion? What's a vector? All these things, right? Like just concept overviews. You can also use like quick questions. Like, for example, should physics logic be inside of update or fixed update in Unity, for example? Just quick questions like that. Not like write this entire movement script for me, but you break it down into small pieces and you ask, for example, should I make the movement itself inside of fixed update or update? And it's going to say fixed update, and it's going to give you like a quick explanation. And since it's like a small thing and you're going to actually implement it, so you use the things that you learned actively, then you're actually going to remember it as well. It's not just, it's going to be like useless information you're going to like forget in like a few hours. Since you're actually asking about something that you're building yourself, then you're going to remember it so much better than if you just watch a tutorial and you don't think like anything for yourself, basically. So that's really good. And this, you can do this with Google as well. Like AI doesn't really need to be a replacement for Google. This is basically just more for efficiency and like more personal answers. So you can get like personalized answers based on like what you know and your skill level and what you're trying to do, basically. But you could obviously use Google for this as well. I don't discourage that. The last thing, when you are getting a bit more advanced and you're making like your first prototypes or your first game, then you can use AI to help you manage your projects, like manage the architecture. It's not that relevant in prototypes, but in your first game, architecture and planning is going to be very relevant, because when you're starting out your first game, then obviously in Smart India I break down how you're going to plan and everything, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be good and it's going to be like the thing that actually makes the most sense. And since planning a game is actually so crucial to you actually finishing the game, I actually think that cheating a little with getting AI to manage your project, architecture, all these things, I think that's an awesome thing. Obviously, not going to teach you like how to plan like as effectively if you didn't use AI, but since planning is so crucial, I think it's a worth it use case for AI. Just to summarize, AI should guide you through the journey. It shouldn't slow your progress down. And inside of Smart Indie, you'll learn how to do that exactly, to use AI to skyrocket your progress, as well as all the other bonuses, personal help, community, and the main course itself to release your first game within only 60 days. With all these bonuses, I think it's going to be totally worth it for you. So click the first link in the description now. And I'll see you there. Thank you for watching.